What's up, guys? It's another late night out here, back at my dad's shop again, working on the GTO, working on getting the back half put in the car so I can kind of get the stance a little better for how I really want it. Say this is the kind of finishing touches up on the chassis work. Other than when I get to the engine compartment, I gotta make my front bars. But after that, all the chassis work I want is gonna be done. And just after that, it's painting it all and then continue to put the rest of the interior back in it. So I was gonna put all the interior in it, but I decided to back half the car. It's gonna give it a better look to me, and it's honestly gonna take a lot of weight off this car that isn't really needed, because I mean, it's old. It's from 1968. It's all steel. Everything is heavy, and I need it to be as light as possible, being a small tire car, with also being, it's gonna be a street no prep car. So I need as little weight in this heavy old thing as I can. But enough of me talking, I'll start showing what I'm working on. Got the fuel cell covered up with my welding blanket. I went ahead and cut and notched these two holes right here, so that way the two drop bars will go from the up here and it'll drop all the way back to there, and I'll be able to make it to where I can mount the bumper off this back bar and everything else off this back bar as well. Alright guys, I didn't get really film me making this bar, but I got an 1.5 inch tube down here, and this is gonna be my back bar right here for mounting the parachute, mounting everything else I need to. I got it tucked away pretty well on both sides, and then after that it's just making these drop bars. Got the first bar fitted in there pretty well, so it's gonna tack in pretty nicely. It's gonna be a great top bar for it. Then after this, I'm gonna run bars from that point down to a lower point right there on that bar to stiffen it up, and also that's gonna be where I'm gonna be able to remount the coilovers and all the other stuff. I want to be able to put the anti-roll, get everything from underneath the car up into the car so I can lower it, and it's gonna be a little easier to kind of plant the rear tires with the car lower to the ground. And I also got to build the wing for it after I get all this done to help keep the car planted. Now next one is making this bar. Got both the rear top bars mounted in the car, and this is probably all I'm gonna get done for the night. Kind of ran out of tubing, but these two bars and then the floor support bar, so I'm going to order more tubing to create the bottom bars. But I don't want to cut the complete floor out just yet, because it's also kind of what's holding the car together. So I'm gonna build the chassis first, and after I get the chassis built, then I'm gonna cut the floor pans out, get rid of this old battery box from the guy previously on the car, and cut out the wheel wells. I'm gonna bring it all the way out to where tubs are gonna meet up with this bar, and the tubs are also gonna meet up with that bar right there. And then I'm gonna be able to get the car pretty low by mounting the coilovers a good probably 6 inches higher than what they already are. And then after I get those mounted, I gotta put the anti-roll, like I said, get that mounted up, and then the car will actually be ride height that I truly want until I can get the front spindles to drop. But that's pretty much enough on this back half for the night. Well, it looks like we're gonna call it a night. It is currently 3 a.m. in the morning, and I'm just not getting done with this. I need to get a couple hours of sleep, and then wake up in the morning and kind of get back into, I want to try and get a little bit more tacked in on this rear section of the car, and then I'm gonna start working up on the front section of the car until I can get the rest of the tubing for the rear. So this is my first car. I got it when I was 14 years old, and just slowly been building it, kind of neglected it, but more motivated now than ever to get this car done. So I'm working on getting the back half all done for it, and then after I get the back half done, then I'll work on this front. I'm kind of planning on throwing some twin turbos on this car to make it more competitive in the small tire class. I'm gonna be, for now, because I don't really have the time to put them in, I'm gonna keep the factory seats in the car, so that way I can kind of run some more of like the real street classes and the daily driver classes, because car is technically gonna be mostly full interior car, other than it's not gonna have the back seat, because the car is gonna be tubbed out pretty well to where I can get the car slammed on the ground. And then after that, then I gotta put the funny car cage in the car and just continue to add to this car as I can. I did have the cage painted at one time, and it's just gotten messed up more and more with the more work I do to the car, and I'm going to paint it again anyway, so I'm just going to start cutting away and getting all the funny car cage put in, the back bar, mount the Kirky seats when I get them in, and after, it's going to take a little bit, but once I get those in, I'll mount the Kirky seats. But for now, I keep the original factory seats in the car and just keep adding to it as I can, and hopefully this car is going to be a pretty big winner in the next year or two, and hopefully I can make it a pretty big threat on the street and in the no prep classes for small tire. But it's going to be a lot of work. But thanks for following the journey. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and see you later.